Hey, so this is our second video on our Dave Ramsey budgeting experience, going through the Dave Ramsey plan. And in our last one, we mentioned a 0% loan that we have for my car that we weren't going to pay back. So we've had a lot of discussion about that and sort of, is that fair? Is that following the system? Is that basically what we want to do? And I definitely feel like we should keep the loan because it's a 0% loan, and you definitely feel like
we should pay it off and follow the baby steps in order.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about each side of why we think we should either keep it or not keep it, and then we can tell you what we decided in the end, because it is already decided. We didn't leave it to this video to make the decision, believe it or not. So a little bit about the loan first. So it's a 0% loan on a 2015 Ford Escape that I bought a little over a year ago. So there's 44 payments remaining, totaling $19,000. So for me, in terms of pros for keeping the loan, it just gives us access to more money, and we don't have to pay for the access to that money. So I'm not looking to use that money to buy fancy things. I'm looking to use that money to pay down my mortgage or increase our emergency fund. So if we have access to free money, it seems silly not to take that money and use it towards the good of our goals. It also adds up to about $1,000 in interest if we take all of that money and put it towards our mortgage throughout the entire 44 months. And that $1,000 just means we're $1,000 paid faster on that mortgage. So it seems like a good idea to keep it and to keep the mortgage, keep the payments.
0% loan.
0% loan, and pay that towards mortgage. The other things that make me feel good about it is our emergency fund right now is at a point where we could pay it off at any time. If we had to pay it off at any time, it would chew through most of our emergency fund, but still we do have the money if we needed to pay it off. And I also did trade something in to get it, so the worth of the car is more than what's owing on the loan. So I'm not upside down on it if I ever needed to sell the car and recoup the cost of the loan. So all of those things definitely appeal to my inner finance nerd, make me feel like we're doing the smart things with money in terms of opening up my spreadsheet and crunching my numbers. But then I also realize that I'm not actually following the baby steps if I do this. I don't know if we can say that we're following the Dave Ramsey model, because we're not. That would be following the Kevin version of the Dave Ramsey model, which I don't know how I feel about. I think it's smart. I think that finance-wise it does make sense, but I also emotionally realize that if we decide to pay this off and we decide to follow the steps the way that they're supposed to be followed, I need to admit that we're people with debt. And we've always considered ourselves people that are good with money, that don't get in debt. We've never had credit card debt in our lives. And having to admit that we are actually people with debt just emotionally seems a little bit hard. So that, I think, on an emotional level versus my finance nerd level, is pushing me towards saying, it's fine. It's not a real loan. It's 0%. So I think that's the construct of my argument. So take it away.
Yeah, and it was important to me that if you're going to be on board with the plan and do the steps in order, that you came to that conclusion yourself and not because I talked you into it.
Yeah, because you brought this to us. Like, you were the one that sort of discovered Dave Ramsey actually through YouTube videos like this first.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And then getting onto the program. So you were trying to bring me into it.
Yeah, and it's the baby steps are such an all or nothing thing that you have to really be in or out. And because it's such a long haul, like when you're talking about going from starting your baby step 1 little emergency fund all the way up to baby step 6 and 7 paying off your mortgage and building wealth. You really have to be committed all the way if you're going to make it that length of time, because that could be a decade or more in some cases. Likely for us, a decade. But playing devil's advocate, some of the points and questions I asked Kevin to help you decide if you wanted to, what order you wanted to do this in. A big factor in this is we have our emergency fund, but our emergency fund would be not a lot less, but the car payment's a big chunk of the emergency fund that we have to have on hand in case something huge happened, like a job loss, that we'd have to still be paying for that car. And the fact that we have payments for the next 44 months is psychologically a long time to be paying off something. It's over 3 years. And those payments aren't going to be contributing to our snowball for the mortgage. The other thing is my car that I drive is fully paid off, and it's a different feeling driving in a car that's paid off and it's yours. I feel good every time I drive my car and get in and be like, yep, this is mine. I don't have to worry about paying for it. All I have to pay for is gas and the insurance. Something Kevin already touched on was committing to the plan or not, and a con of not paying off a 0% loan felt like not committing to this process, and this process clearly is successful. If you listen to Dave Ramsey podcast, which I have been almost every day for the last 2 months, you hear so many people that have been through it and gone in the right order and paid off thousands, if not hundreds of thousands in a lot of cases, worth of debt in sometimes months, sometimes years and years, but they've stuck with it because they followed the order. And the baby step process has you start with your smallest loan first, not your lowest interest. And that's where you question. But the steps do that because research has proven time and time again that having that psychological win and making the snowball get bigger is what actually keeps you on track and keeps you successful. So questioning that and not following that is kind of arrogant in a way, I think, to say that you know better when you're just... I think you're good with money, but you're obviously the saver, I'm the spender, and in 15 years together, we haven't ever successfully had a budget that's worked for both of us, and we've been on the same page. So if this is working, we should follow the steps and see it through. And finally, my last point was knowing what we know today. If you needed a car right now, and knowing how you feel about financing your credit, and you had to go out today and get another car, would you do the same, or would you make the same deal and get the same 0% loan?
Which I said no. I'm not going to go out and get another financing plan. So
you didn't even think about it either. You
just knew right away. No. So that clearly tells me where I sit on the issue. Like, if I wouldn't go out and get it today, then why am I continuing it into tomorrow? So in the end, we've decided that we are on baby step 2, and we're going to pay off the loan first, and then we'll graduate through the baby steps as we're supposed to, and it'll contribute to the snowball for our mortgage and increasing our emergency fund and all that good stuff. And I just need to lay my inner finance nerd to rest. There was a couple of pieces that spoke to me, and it was making sense of the snowball. Like, if I get rid of that payment, which is almost $500 a month, then I have an additional $500 a month to put towards our mortgage, which is a more lofty goal. It's a bigger amount, and it's going to take more to make a dent in it. So if I can get rid of the smaller one and get that psychological win first, that's going to keep me on track. Plus, I have more money later to put against the bigger I'm feeling good about it. I was definitely really, really conflicted about it. And even when we had decided we were going to move forward having the debt, I kept bringing it up. And being like, I don't know. I don't know if I feel good about this or not. Something feels weird. So my gut, I think, is going with knowing that my wife is typically right about everything in life. And I mean, did you hear the questions she came up with and how eloquent and persuasive they are? Eloquent, elegant.
Elephant?
You're elegant and eloquent. So, but you're not an elephant. So. Well, except maybe you never forget.
Nice.
So that's our final decision, and we're going to keep uploading videos. If you haven't seen our first video, it's definitely been linked earlier in this video. You can also follow the rest of our family vlog that is on this channel, and I'm sure I've linked a couple of videos as you've gone through, and I'm probably linking one right now. So please like and subscribe. Our first video is currently at 95 views, which is the most views we've ever gotten on anything that I've posted in the last like 6 months of doing this vlog. So that's pretty cool, but I'd really like to see it go over 100. So if you haven't seen it, then please click on that and give that a watch. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Hi, Pinkie Pie. Oh, Pinkie Pie doesn't have language?
It's just a pretend Pinkie Pie design and little toddler.
Oh, you being toddler Cammy?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Pinkie Pie is going to go get a friend. Who do you think the friend's going to be? Yep, compelling content.